All right, guys, you're welcome to another episode on our special AFCON show on Football Buffet. Nigeria won the quarterfinal fixtures. We are in the semifinals. I know you are excited, Toby. You are the number one Nigerian fan. So, how do you feel? Talk to us, Toby, on the show.
Glad to be here, Toby. I've always been excited about the prospects of our national team going far in this AFCON. Maybe not necessarily winning it at the beginning of the tournament, but now I think it's coming home.
So your mind don't carry and say they come home.
Bro, with the way they play, it might just come home because I'm not scared of South Africa and the remaining teams, Ivory Coast, DR Congo, one of them will knock each other out. So why not? It looks like a straight transit to the finals, and maybe we'll finally get our hands on the fourth AFCON eventually.
Yeah, so I know I don't want to agree with you on that in terms of no more quality opposition in this AFCON. But before we go to that, right, let's talk about that game itself, right? Nigeria versus Angola. We ended 1-0. The
Mm.
Angolans they struck the bar at some point. Late into that game, when the changes were being made, everyone was scared. What if this game goes into the extra time, or maybe the Angolans score? Because at some point Victor Osimhen was out, was substituted, Lookman was substituted, Iwobi was substituted, all of our creative folks on the pitch were substituted, and we had Paulo Onuachu coming. Were you worried that at the later end of that game that they could get an equalizer at that point?
So with the new system we're playing, I'm always confident that
You
we'll
too
be
like
very
this
difficult.
system. You too
Very,
like this system.
now. I don't they tell you this. Like I knew that we were very difficult to score against. We limited Angola to one shot in the first half, one in the second half, and our keeper was up to the
And
task,
that's
saved
right.
both confidently. And beyond that, there was no really major threat from them. Their front three that terrifying teams before they faced us. They were so quiet. Gilberto, Gerson, Mabalulu. They were all quiet, and they couldn't even muster any major chance. We're rock solid at the back as usual. So for me, the changes the coach made were necessary. There were things in there to do. If he was going to be successful, that was the worry. But eventually, it worked out. He brought on massive loads of defenders. Omeru came in at some point. We just kept on stockpiling the defense, and it worked. We eventually saw the game out, and the one was enough to take us into the semi-finals. So for me, it was a risk that was worth taking, and eventually worked out for Josep Postero.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise now that Josep Pesero, what would happen if he wins this AFCON? Are they going to keep him? Because it doesn't look like he wants to renew his contract, but we see how that goes. Also on that game, I think the man of the match for that game was Simon Moses. Would you say this game was your best game for Simon Moses in the Nigerian shirts?
Yeah, in the Nigerian shit, no, not necessarily. He's had some terrific games in the past, but Toby, at the beginning of the in our previous episode of our podcast, we
Yeah.
kept complaining that he's so inconsistent. Especially for the national team, we know what he can do, we know his capabilities, we know what he brings to the table, but unfortunately, he can't churn out those performances consistently. He just blows hot and cold. But I was happy at the fifth time of asking. That's our fifth game
This
of
is
the
time of asking.
competition. He eventually showed us the
So,
most
so, so
Simon
to
that
you,
we're
this is his best game. This is his best game in AFCON for this AFCON, right?
this current AFCON definitely by a country mile. He took the game so personally. Individually, it was so good. 1v1 was so good, and he also gave the assist. Remember when he went past two players? Caf posted that clip as the
Yeah,
best move of the day. That's to
yeah,
show you how lovely he was on the day. He also gave the assist. The assist was also the best assist of the day for the
yeah,
Lookman goal. I like the way he danced past the defenders. He got to the byline. He looked up, Toby, to see who was
yeah.
coming.
For the first
Osimhen
time,
was at the near. Yes, Osimhen was at the near post, and he took the attention of the defenders. Two of them rushed towards Osimhen, and on came Lookman, who arrived getting to the box, and Simon squared the ball to him. One time finish, and that's it. That's all you need. That's the Simon that we've all
we all
come to
want.
watch in the Super Eagles, but for some strange reason, Toby, he's never consistent. You don't know what he's going to give to you. Come the game against South Africa, I don't know what Musama will give to me. But unlike
Yeah,
some other players, like Osime, Olayeno, you can tell what they will give to you on the day,
yeah,
but not for Moses Simon. Same as Chukwueze. I think they need to work on their consistency when they put on the green and white.
Yeah. I think you are spot on when it comes to consistency, right? If you remember the last AFCON as well for Moses Simon, he was one of our best players, and I think in that AFCON, he actually had more games where he was actually consistent. But ever since that AFCON, really, it's been hot and cold for him. He plays one game, he goes off for the next 3 games, and but I think for me, deservedly, he was the best player on the pitch that day. In terms of ball recovery, helping out the defense,
Yeah,
on and off.
true. I didn't mention that. He was very
Yeah,
good
he
off the
was
ball.
he
Yeah,
was he was
he
very
worked
good.
really hard.
Yeah,
Even to
yeah,
the
he
later
was
part
very
of the game where everyone was tired, you could still see that effort, that industry, and that's why it wasn't subbed off. It wasn't something that has been common in the tournament so far. It was usually subbed off, especially for defensive players. But he was just so good on the day. The coach couldn't take him off, and well deserved man of the match award for him.
Yeah, I would say that that was well deserved as well. At the beginning of our podcast, if I remember at the first episode, we spoke a lot about X Factor going into this AFCON. And the way it's usually for Nigeria in AFCON and most tournaments, right? And not just Nigeria, generally for most teams, when you go into tournaments like this, right? There's usually that player that you're not expecting to come to the table, right? That just starts shining and becomes the player that everybody's talking about. And for this
Mm.
AFCON, for Nigeria, it's been Ademola Lookman, right? Talk to
So
me. Were you surprised at how far he's come in this tournament? He has 3 goals and 1 assist so far. He has more GA than even the African Footballer of the Year, Victor Osimhen.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He's not someone that is used to the national team. He's one of the Oyinbo contingents, like we like to
No
say.
be Oyibo now.
Uh,
Which Oyibo contingent? Nah,
it's for you,
nah.
bread now. It's for you, bread now.
In it,
Good player
boys.
anytime. Good player any day, but he's having a very good tournament. Ademola Lookman. I didn't expect it was going to be our X factor. To be fair, I was still looking at someone like Osimhen, obviously, maybe Chukwueze, but Lookman has stepped up. He's been fantastic for us. He's enjoying himself in Ivory Coast, and I'm sure going forward, opposition will start to pay more attention to him, and probably less to Osimhen, and then maybe the floodgates will open for Victor Osimhen. But we can't tell. We are still enjoying the Mara Lookman, of course, with his 3 goals and 1 assist so far in the 5 games played so far.
So do you think as things continue to go now, imagine Ademola Lookman gets one more goal and he has more goals than Victor Osimhen at the end of the tournament. Do you see him taking the player of the tournament ahead of Victor
Yeah,
Osimhen?
yeah, yeah. Why
Mm.
not? The player of tournament is based on
They're not going
performance,
to do Messi, but
not on
Messi,
your
Messi
profile.
accumulated points since. You don't see them
Ah,
up. Like it happens in football, right?
yeah, popularity
Accumulated
contest.
points, a popularity
Yeah,
context. So you don't
yeah.
see that happening
But
in this case.
no, I don't see it happening. It has to be by performances. Who has the most goals, most assists, more contributions, most man of the match awards. Those are things that they consider, and by all means, Adema Lukman ticks all these boxes. He deserves it if he can get one or two more goal contributions in the tournament. Easily, he'll probably be the highest scorer of the tournament if he can get like 2 more goals going to
Yeah,
the
I think
final
I think
stages of
he
tournament.
needs 3 more goals because of Nsue. Nsue finished the tournament with
Yeah,
5.
Osue is on 5 goals. Yes, yes. So if you can get, if you can have more assists than Osue, he has 1 assist. I don't think Osue has any assists. So these are the fine margins, and Lukman is enjoying himself. I really hope he can keep on with this performance because with the way the Super Eagles are playing, a goal, 2 goals in a game is enough for them to win. So if he can come up with the goods, we'll all be delighted.
Oh yeah, so again, since Stanley Wabali actually came to the fore, the first, second, third game, Nigerians were of the opinion that come, this guy looks very confident, right? He looks like he commands his area very well. He's very vocal. It looks like he's very confident. But some people were of the opinion that yes, he's got all of that, but he's not actually been tested. And against Angola, we saw a few times when he was actually
Two
tested.
good saves. Two
Yeah,
good saves. Yeah.
and he actually, if you remember the first chance the Angolans had in the first half, he had a strong hand there to stop the ball. Though I think it
Mm.
was an offside, but he showed good confidence there and good reflex in terms of strong hands, handling, and all of that.
Mm.
So, do you think he's beginning to show us that yes, Nigeria has finally solved the goalkeeping problem?
Well, temporarily, I must add, we've solved the problem temporarily. going into the tournament, Nigerian fans wanted anything but Uzoho, and Stanley Wabali has been a real breath of fresh air. He's coming to the team, relatively unknown, and he's been solid. He's been good, like you said, commands his area very well. Good in the air. He speaks very well, communicates well to his backline. He's vocal. The players respect him. There was a time he was screaming at Iwobi
It
for
will
an
be.
error. Yeah, the captain Trustekon went to him to apologize. It shows that he's not nervous. Compared to Zo, who always has this confusion on his face. He looks confused, looks scared, looks like he's out of place. Sometimes he looks like fish out of water, and this doesn't give confidence to his teammates. And even the opposition might even want to prey on that. The few minutes he came on when Nwabali got injured against Cameroon, there was a lot of jittery in the defense. You don't know what you get with Uzo. It could just be so shaky, fumble the ball there, and then you consider a silly goal or cause a silly penalty. He's poor at set pieces. So Nwabali for me has been craving for in this tournament,
Stability.
as well as we played in this tournament. If we had a terrible goalkeeper to be, it could have just been our undoing, and we would not have gotten this far. So Nwabali
Spot on.
for me has really protected us, and he's really complemented that whole defensive effort that the coach has brought into the tournament. We've just been not conceding goals. The only time Kofi is considered in tournament to be is against Equatorial Guinea, the first game, and that was when we played with the back four. So to change to the back three against Ivory Coast, we've not even considered a goal. We had only one shot of target faced against Ivory Coast, a couple against Guinea-Bissau, and we had 0 shot of target faced against Cameroon, 2 shots of target faced against Angola. That's consistency to be, and it's all down to this special, sweet formation that
Special, your favorite, your favorite. I know you. I know you can continue to sing about this formation because you
Yes,
really like this
well,
formation.
it is our winning formula. Yes.
Yeah. So you think that all of this is due to the change in formation, or you would want to say this is because of something? Maybe the players are being energized and are more committed than ever, or you are just going to
No,
stick it
to be
to formation.
100% is the formation.
Mhm.
Barcelona goes back to a back four against South Africa. Whoever will lose. Put your money
Really?
on it.
You think
It's the
so?
formation. Yes, it's the formation to be, because we are difficult to score against. We have probably the best forwards in the whole of Africa. Our forwards can compete with the best in Europe. You understand me? We've got Chukwueze playing for AC Milan. We've got Osimhen playing for Napoli, a £100 million player. We've got Ademola Lookman scoring goals for Atlanta. We've got Moses Simon destroying the French league. We've got Victor Boniface destroying the German league, currently top of the table. We've got Tyrone Murphy recently just signed to Nice from another club in France. So these are strikers attackers that can play in any top European club. At the time I only for Nottingham Forest is scoring goals. So the issue wasn't the attackers, Toby, it was the defenders. And in the back four, they usually got exposed. And that's why we always used to concede goals. Even against Equatorial Guinea, the first game of the tournament, we still shipped in a goal. But the moment he moved into a back three in possession, back five out of possession, it is difficult for any African team to break us down. I'm saying this and I can say this anywhere. Take to the
You
bank to
want
be.
to put your
There's no
money?
African team that would easily break us down. Maybe save for Morocco, Senegal, those top teams that have got quality attackers as well. But beyond those two, there is no African team that can break down a back five. It's the one that is so organized, as we've seen in the tournaments so far. We've been so organized, very disciplined. We don't joke at the back. We don't really play out of the back. If it is not there, we don't play. If it is there, we can play. So that discipline and that system has really helped us not to ship in goals. So for me to be, besides the hunger of the boys, I think that system has really helped them to have more confidence in order to play, and they are sure that they won't concede goals. So
So
Toby,
so
for
you're,
me,
you're
the
putting it
system.
down to the system, right?
Yes, it's the system.
So
It's
so
the
so but
three
again
five three
again
four three system.
again a counter opinion on this system is one of the things that people have always spoken about is one of the reasons why they think that the system has worked so far is because we always score first, right? In a situation where we don't score first, do you think that there might be challenges with the system, or like for instance going into the South Africa game, right? Imagine a situation where the South Africans maybe get a goal before us. Do you think there might be a need for a change in system so that we can have more attacking players, or maybe pull some players from the bench like the Terry Murphys, the Kelechi Iheanacho, the Ahmed Musa that have not seen minutes in this tournament? Do you think this formation, in terms of changing it to suit some of these players when we need a goal or we go down, do you see that happening?
Well, the only way we can consider a goal to be started considering first is maybe a very bad defensive error, maybe a set piece, maybe a penalty. But just from open play, I don't see it. Especially not from the South African team. I saw them against Cape Verde. They were dreadful. They were just hanging on to a thread, and they were fortunate to get to penalties and then defeat Cape Verde on penalties. I saw them against Namibia. These are the kind of teams that they can beat. They lost against Mali. So they have not seen that quality in this South African team to break down this kind of resolute Nigerian defense line. So beyond stupid set pieces, stupid errors at the back, or a penalty, to be South Africa cannot score us. And even if they do, we've got the quality of attackers that can score back. There's no need to panic. Just keep playing, stay in the game. You understand me? And then we'll get the goals. We've got a lot of quality players up front, and for me, even if we concede first, I believe that with the quality of attackers we have on the pitch and on the bench, we would always score goals against any team, and even South Africa.
Oh yes, you made mention of some of the quarterfinal games, right? I did you see the game Mali versus Cote d'Ivoire? But what a game, right? They were leading Ivory Coast up until the 90th minute, I believe, and they got a goal. Also went into extra time. They waited until the last minutes of the extra time, 120th minute, before they got the goal that sent them through to the semifinals. And they were playing one man with a player down from the first half. So for me, that got me scared. That got me worried for the Super Eagles, right? If we meet this Ivory Coast team, it might be very, very difficult for us in the finals. But so let's talk about the other second semi-finals fixtures before we get into the Super Eagles game, right? We know that Ivory Coast is going to be playing DR Congo. Do you think that the DR Congo team can stop this team?
To be honest, the Ivorians are running on fumes. They're running on pure passion. Beyond that, there's nothing more about this team.
No capacity.
Take away the passion. They're just a very ordinary team that would lose to any team. Senegal, we saw it. They had to wait till the last kick of the game to get the penalty. We saw it same thing against Mali, like you said. They had to wait till the last kick of the a normal time before they got the equalizer. The last kick of the extra time as well before they got the winner. You can only ride your luck so far, and I'm sure that DR Congo will have seen this trend and they'll be willing and ready to counter it. I feel they have enough quality to go past DR Congo, even without the whole passion. But if they face the Super Eagles in the final, to be that passion will not be enough because passion will not break down a five-man defense. We saw that in the group stage when we played against them. They didn't have a shot on target, and the problems are still obvious. They've not gotten so better all of a sudden. They've just been fueled by passion. They've gotten that stroke of luck at the moments of the game. And Barcelona has shown you in previous games that when the game is going to an end, he's going to bring in more defenders to stop all those kind of silly chances, and that's what has been foiling this Ivorian team. I believe they might be able to get one against DR Congo, but if they get to the final, if they meet the Nigerian national team, I'm assuring you, their passion will not save them this time. We'll beat them for the second time in this competition.
You think the passion will not be enough? Oh boy, I'm not sure that one though. It's going to be very tough.
I don't see the quality in the team, Toby. I'm worried.
Yeah, I agree with you because the bulk of that team
all over the place whenever they play.
Yeah, because their strength is actually in the midfield, right? And most of the folks that are in the midfield, the Fofanas, the Sangares, all of those folks are quite slow and they're old already, right? That's where their strength is. So I agree with you, but for me, looking at the Ivory Coast team, because this is a team that thought they were out, they understand what it means to be down and out, and that's what is driving all of that passion. That's where that energy is coming from. The never say die attitude, and that's that's what I'm worried about. If Nigeria gets to the final and you're playing a team that is re-energized, a team that has the fans behind them, we might have a game on our hand in the finals. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have the Nigeria versus South Africa game to play. We have a familiar foe. If you remember back in 19, so it was a 2000 AFCON 2000 that was hosted by Nigeria and Ghana in Lagos in the semi-finals. We played them. Right, South Africa. We played South Africa in that game, and we won them in that game 2-0. I remember it was a fast goal. It was in the first 2-3 minutes, if I remember, after the blast of the whistle. A certain Tijani Babangida playing from the left. I think the South Africans were expecting him to start from the right as always. Tijani, because then we were not doing the world was not used to the inverse, where you take the right footer to go to the left, or
in
you
the
take the left to
inverted
the right.
wingers, yeah.
Right. So in that game, I know Bonfrejo had interrupted things a bit. He moved Tijani Babangida to the left, and it was, I think it was less than 3 minutes of starting the game. A ball was just played to Babangida. Babangida outran their right fullback. I think it was Mark Fish that was playing in the right
Fish.
fullback back then. We
Yeah.
outran him and got the goal. So and I know that is still burning in their hearts, of the South Africans, because that game was the game they were expecting to come all out, because they had hosted in, I think it was in 1996 they won, and they had gone to Burkina Faso in 1998, which they did well as well. So they were coming with a lot of fire, and Nigeria doused all of that fire back in Lagos, and we won that. So they know what it feels like to play Nigeria in the semifinals. So this is going to be a big game. Also, Nigeria ourselves, we have in the last 5 of the semifinals we've had in AFCON, we have lost 4. We have only won 1 of the last 5 semifinals that we have played in. So this is a lot of worry, because I was listening to Trust Ekong, and the interview he had after the game, right? And I think they were asking him, what are your expectations for the semifinal? And he made a comment that was quite striking for me. He said he's been in the semifinal before. He lost the semifinal to a last-minute goal, thanks to Riyad Mahrez. That was in
Against
AFCON
Algeria.
2019. He knows what it feels like to be out, to lose an semifinals. That all of his mind and his spirit, every part of him is just looking towards that game. That he understands how it feels to be out in the semifinal. So he's very, very focused, and he's hoping that he's going to translate all of that to the team. So let's talk about this game. This is a game that is already generating a lot of controversy, a lot of buzz, thanks to the Grammy decisions. The Grammy star, the South African star, won this at the expense of Davido and the likes of I think it was Burna Boy was also in that category. So already on social media, there's a lot of fanfare, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of bands going on there. I saw some Nigerian celebrities doing videos and saying, over to you.
Calling it Amapiano Derby.
I'm piano derby. So there's a lot of noise going into this game, really. So talk to me. What do you think is going to happen in this game, Nigeria versus South Africa? Do you think the Super Eagles can make it through the final?
Yeah, Toby, Nigeria, South Africa, though we're not in the same region, but over time there's been this
then they see us as competition unnecessarily. We don't know what concern us and them.
We played a lot of games together. The Nelson Mandela that usually go and play in South Africa, and then we usually meet in some World Cup qualifiers as well. We are also in the same group in this in the next World Cup. The qualifiers for the next World Cup. So we usually just meet them a lot. So it's a huge game. These two teams know each other so well. But Toby, the gulf in quality between those two teams is so much. Nigerian team has got so much quality. They're also having a very good tournament. They're dominating games. They're winning games. They're not conceding goals. Likewise, consistent for South Africans. They've not conceded since the first game against Mali when they lost 2-0.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can also ask what the quality of teams they played. They played against Namibia, against Cape Verde. These are not really teams that naturally should worry any a serious team. So and it will shock you to see that South Africa struggled. They were clinching on to the goalless draw against Cape Verde, where they eventually won on penalties. Their goalkeeper Ronnie Williams saving 4 penalties. Toby, we don't want to go into penalty shootouts in South Africa. I don't think we have penalty takers that can beat this goalkeeper.
Toby is not even Toby on that. Sorry to cut you short. On that, I don't even think it's a case of having penalty takers, because the moment the game runs into a penalty shootout, right, there's just this psychological advantage South Africans are going to have going into that. Even for us, even for the Super Eagles, imagine you as a player, this guy I'm coming against in the last game saved 4 out of 5.
4 penalties,
that's a record.
Madness.
That's a record. So I can imagine the kind of effect that would have on a player going to face the goalkeeper. So yeah, you're spot on there. You can continue.
Yeah, so South Africans they might see the penalty shootout as an advantage. So the Super Eagles will want to avoid that by all means. We should be wary. We shouldn't.
We should
avoid going into penalty shootout with the South Africans. Their keeper is so good. It's no fluke. He did it in the African Super League for for his club, Orlando Pirates, I think, and he saved a couple of goalkeepers, saved a couple of penalties, and against Cape Verde in the quarterfinals of the AFCON, saved 4 penalties out of 5. His quality is immense when it comes to penalty shootouts. Also in the game, he had a couple of very good saves. So, but I feel we need to do the business in 90 minutes. We shouldn't let it go into extra time or even penalties. Um, the quality of attackers that Nigeria has, I really don't see the confidence as regards penalties in the team. The penalty we had against, I think, Cote d'Ivoire, that true second step forward to take. I heard a couple of players were scared. They were shying away from that responsibility. Osimhen and the likes, they told the captain, I don't think I can take this. Pressure is too much. So imagine when you have this kind of players having to face a keeper that just saved 4 penalties in his previous game. So by all means, we need to avoid going to penalty shootouts with South Africa. I don't think that would be a problem. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be winning the game in 90 minutes. South Africans don't have that much quality to drag us into extra time. I think if we do what we need to do, defend well, convert our chances up front, we are good to go.
Yeah, so for me, when it comes to South Africa, right, over the years, when we play them in tournaments, right, we usually get the better of them, right? But when you come to maybe the AFCON qualifiers or World Cup qualifiers, it can be a bit edgy when you play them. But when it comes to tournaments, I'm always rest assured that Nigeria would get the needed victory against them. Back to, you can go back to AFCON 2004. I think we played them at that AFCON with Osaze's goal, if you remember. In that AFCON, we also played them in 2019. We won them thanks to Trustekong and your Chukwueze. Maybe we might see Chukwueze because of that one now. Yeah. So I think we always kind of have the edge over them when it comes to tournament football. But when it comes to maybe qualifiers, it can be a bit in the, maybe when you go away to their country, they play very well, or sometimes they get a draw.
They've even defeated us at home recently.
Yes, they did. They did.
Yeah. But in this tournament, they've not really shown signs for me of the team that can threaten this current Super Eagles squad. Their coach, Go Bruce, has done a fantastic job to get them this far.
That coach was a coach for Cameroon, right?
Yes,
Cameroon
he led them
left
them to the.
So he's an experienced coach.
Yes, an experienced coach, and he knows what he's doing. But I think this is the end of the road for them. Super Eagles will be too good for them. They've got quality. We just have to we have to be wary of Pesitao and Mokoena, fantastic player. He's good at set pieces. We need to keep our heads up and our eyes open for his set pieces, free kicks, corner kicks. You need to avoid giving away cheap free kicks close to the area. Avoid all those in-swingers as well. Those free kicks from wide areas, avoid them because he can put in a good ball into the box. If you can do all this, I think we are good to go. That is basically the shot of the South Africans, Dia Mokoena and Pesitao. Keep these two guys quiet, and that's it. It's going to be a stroll in the park.
A stroll in the park, I beg. Small. Don't let's get ahead of ourselves.
I know the big mouth. I'm too confident.
I'm not worried, anyways. I'm not worried. But
bust my head.
I'm not worried. So what I would say is, let's look at the other semi-final fixtures, right? I know we talked about it briefly there. Do you see the DR Congo stopping the host nation?
No, I don't see it happening. I see Ivory Coast making to the final. They can't come back from the dead, work this hard, get to the semi-finals, and then lose it at home. I don't think they'll lose it. How they'll win it, I don't know. But I see
how they win it. They rock finals. They're good idea.
Damn body.
So what are your predictions for that? If you're going to predict?
Well, maybe Ivory Coast 2-1 after extra time.
After extra time, so you see them going into the extra time again. Okay, so let's go to the Nigerian game, right? I know for Nigeria we had an extra day in terms of our game was before them, and they also played an extra time. So do you think that also affects the freshness of the player and all of that?
Definitely, it's going to affect the recuperation and the recovery because we have more recovery time than they did. So they also played longer, a very physical game. I must add, against Cape Verde, as they have to defend for most part of the game. So that must have affected their stamina and their endurance. I feel Super Eagles going to the game have all the advantage. We just need to keep our heads in the game and just play what we know how to play, and then the results will come. I'm very confident going into this one to be a draw, or a draw after 90 minutes would be like a defeat to me. I want us to
Yeah.
tidy this game in 90 minutes and kick them out. I'm predicting 2-0 to Nigeria.
2-0, 2-0 to Nigeria. 2-0. You're 2-0 again. You don't come for this 2-0 again. So any change in personnel, any change in tactics? I know you say no, they should keep on the formation. I
You
know
don't
that
you don't change the winning formula.
you don't change the video. So the same
You don't change
personnel,
the
or
winning
do you
formula, same
fancy
personnel.
seeing a Chukwueze or a Terry Murphy?
But for me, Toby, I would like to see Alassane coming for Iwobi. It looked good when he came on in a few minutes in the last game. Let him come in for Iwobi, and then let us give more freedom to the wing backs. Let them go and attack, join the front three and create chances, and then let's get as many goals as possible. Where Alassane and Frank can just be the steal in the middle of the park, break play, intercept, and then protect the back three. I
So
think
no
with this, we're
Chukwueze,
good
no
to.
Chukwueze, no Kelechi, no Terry Murphy for
No,
you.
no. Maybe if we're chasing the game, we need to score, and the goal is not coming. We can throw them on Kelechi, Chukwueze, throw them on. Let's have
But
more
you have to
attacking
alter the
players.
system to do that.
Not necessarily. You can alter the personnel and still keep the system. And altering the system doesn't even matter. You can remove a defender and bring in an extra
Yeah,
attacker.
but if you do
If you're
that,
chasing a game, you don't need 5 defenders. You understand me?
all right. So you're saying we are going to win. So for me, my predictions, I think, however Nigeria wants to do is, I know we're going to be in the finals, except the South Africans get lucky. But because, for me, I'm going to be predicting a 1-0 victory in favor of the Super Eagles, and I see us making it through to the final, hopefully. So, guys, on the comment section, tell us what do you think this game is going to end? Nigeria versus South Africa. Do you think Afrobeat, Amapiano vibes, and all of that would overwhelm this game, or do you think Nigeria will just take this and get to the finals? So tell us what you think about it in the comment section, and please subscribe to our contents. We'll be giving you more contents as the tournament progresses. We'll be giving you some very lovely contents for the finals, hopefully when Nigeria qualifies. So guys, comment, tell us what you think about the game and what your expectations are about the game, and we'll see you on the next episode, hopefully when Nigeria makes it. Have a nice one, and bye bye now.